And hopefully there we go. Hey. Finally. It was acting weird. The joys of doing live stuff. Welcome to Talking About Piercing. It's going to be a little different tonight. Scott is sick again. These kids today.
Yeah, they get into stuff. Sticky, clingy, germy things.
I think she licks too many fence posts. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
I did get sick a lot less when I
stopped licking
the licking of the posts.
Yeah.
So
it builds up immunity.
Yeah, it might be something to it.
Not immunity. Immunity.
Immunity.
Now it's totally lost, and I'm just going to start making that up.
And immunity is an amenity.
Yeah.
Immunity.
So here, for those that are new here and kind of don't know what the hell this is all about, generally what we do is we do kind of a rundown of what happened at the shop, what happens on the channel. It's that holiday season, so we only had a 4-day week. It was pretty busy. A few people with Christmas money, did some fun year stuff, met some great people. Did you do anything interesting this week?
This was a 4-day week?
Yeah, it was. We got another one next week.
We came in on Friday?
Yeah.
And then I had a snow day yesterday.
Yeah, it was lovely out.
Man, yeah, and you know what? I started out on the road. And it was just blowing, and it was freaking cold. And the closer I got to Des Moines from my house, it was just getting scarier
and scarier.
You couldn't see, you could see less and less. And I was like, you know what? Call my guys. I gotta reschedule. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
And I could have made it, but making it home at night, and I'm like, it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah, because it was not too bad until like 4:00 here anyway.
Yeah. Oh, and then what? It just kind of got worse.
Yeah, it got kind of strange. Why does it keep doing this to us?
It's conspiracy.
Try this. It says upcoming, and then it has like an entirely different. One of these days, like this will figure it out.
So many buttons.
I know that's part of the problem. Is like I'm trying new stuff. Let's see if we can figure out what the hell's going on with this.
This is my new hat I got for Christmas. It's got light on it.
Well, beautiful.
Yeah.
So you can know where you're at.
Well, it is coming very handy already.
Okay, that should solve that problem. Why are you asking me about passwords? Now I'm going to verify that it's on by the phone. Yeah, it's working. It looks like. Yes.
Isn't it Ajax 1, 2, 3, 4? Like all your
Christmas. Craziness. If it ain't one thing, it's another, and if it's another thing, it's another. Weather is always. It's like I always tell people. It's like Iowa. You can plan for absolutely anything you want.
It don't matter.
But the weather.
Yeah.
It's always the weather that you cannot, without a doubt, cannot make a choice one way or another.
Yeah, wait 5 minutes. It'll change if you don't like it. Yeah.
Yep.
Hoodie in the morning, shorts in the afternoon, and hoodie back on.
Yeah, and snow 3 days later.
Yeah, and it fucks with you every time because you think like, oh, this winter's gonna be be a mild winter. It's gonna be great, and right as you get used to that, boom, bah.
Yeah, and then it'll tease all the way through March.
Oh yeah, I know that is the worst. It's like, when is summer coming? By the way, and what screws with me is winter doesn't officially start until like mid-December?
21st of December. It's the shortest day of the year.
But winter kind of starts like mid-October-ish.
Yeah.
Kinda. So it can. So it kind of feels wintry, and then you're a month or two or a month and a half into what feels like winter, and you're like, oh, you hear somebody say, oh, it's the first day of winter. Like, no.
But I have to say they're a lot shorter than they used to be. In my opinion, because maybe it's just childhood and how time goes slower when you're younger. But I remember it would snow, like always seemed like it snowed the day before whatever night, Beggar's Night, Halloween. So it would totally screw up the dynamics of your costume.
Yeah, I do remember it being snowy and icy several Beggar's Nights, but not always.
And then it seemed like that stayed on. That stuff stayed until, like, I don't know, Memorial
until
Day.
It turned to slush until June in the sand and the slush and the mush. But yeah, but I hear it's been pretty brutal all over the U.S. I think.
So hopefully everybody's warm and safe and cozy.
Yeah.
Got the fire going, have some cocoa, whatever you need to do. An adult beverage of some sort.
Yeah, a little Bailey's in the coffee
something to make it a little bit easier.
Make the snow a little prettier.
So did you have any fun projects this week, or was it kind of just...
it was a weird week.
Because it was just, a day here. 2 days here and then gone and then back one day.
Yeah, I had a very, very kind of a weird week, but one of my days it was like cartoon characters, which is weird. And mostly what I did this week was color, which was really weird because I do probably 80% color or black and gray anymore. Yeah, it's just what people come to me for, and which I love. I love doing black and gray. I love doing color too, but black and gray has always just been kind of my go-to, and I guess that just shows in what I publish and stuff. So anyway, but this week it was a lot of color. Yeah. And one day I did what is it? Adventure Time. Anybody know Adventure Time?
Isn't that the one from Saturday Night Live?
No, It's this weird. Yeah, it's a.
That's what my head just immediately went to.
It could kind of be.
No, that was something gay guys. That's what I'm thinking of. Like ambiguous gay superheroes.
Oh, gay duo or
yes,
yes. Ambiguous gay duo or something.
Whatever it was, where everything was kind of like they might be. I don't know.
Right.
And all their Anyway, go ahead.
Like Pat. You remember Pat?
Yeah, that wouldn't fly very well now. So
it really wouldn't.
We'll leave it right there where it belongs in the past.
If you're interested, Google it.
You'll find it.
Yeah. So, oh man,
Adventure Time.
Yeah, so I did some Adventure Time characters, and which I had watched Adventure Time since I tattooed him last, because he's good. He's Gen. I don't know. He's probably like a millennial.
Okay,
that's a couple generations.
It's kind of weird because
me.
that whole generation just kind of syncs together.
Well, and it's a whole different genre of cartoons.
Yeah.
It's not Looney Tunes. It's not Ninja Turtles. It's not any of that stuff. It's a completely different Nickelodeon kind of Cartoon Network kind of thing.
Okay.
So you've got like Dexter's Laboratory.
Oh, okay.
Things
so
like that.
All the stuff I watched from my kid.
Exactly.
And some of it I watched as an adult, like
the
Cowardly
Dog and stuff. Yeah, it's that stuff. And I think he's already got actually all of those characters. He's got like, Powerpuff Girls and that genre. So, but I did end up watching some Adventure Time, and it is a really, cerebral but ridiculous show. Yeah. It's kind of like mixing South Park and Pulp Fiction. It is, yeah. It's got this really deep, weird, ongoing lore with all the characters.
Okay,
but what they're doing during the show is completely ridiculous. But there's always little callbacks, like what's going on in all these characters' lives while they're dealing with something completely dumb.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
But it's pretty cool. So I did those one day, or the same day, and then I did, what was the other cartoon I did that day? It was some colorful cartoon thing. And then the next day, I did, like today, I did a puma.
Okay.
Like a mountain lion?
Yeah.
And I did I finished up like a tiger. And they were black and gray, but it was, my days were very, it was like cartoon day and then realistic animal day. So, yeah, that was kind of interesting.
So it was themed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever noticed, like, when you have a client come in and you have this discussion about something you never heard of, but it sounds interesting, and you go back, it's and then you're like, wow, I wish I would have done this before I talked to him. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're at a show and you see a band and you're kind of like, yeah, this is okay. And then 2 months later, you hear like a bunch of their music and it's like, damn, if I would have listened to this before, I would have been able to enjoy it more.
Yeah, I think just like in music, like the more you're in art, the less that happens.
Yeah.
But when it does happen, it really jumps out at you.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is neat. I get excited when my clients come in with an idea and and I immediately can see what they're seeing, and I can get excited with them. And even if it's something that's a similar thing that I've done before, because music is it's music, so art is art. And I'm producing art on the same thing every time. I always kind of tie back to the automotive industry, like with customizing cars, because I grew up with my father customizing cars, painting cars, building cars, and it's all this. And really there's kind of this crossover where I'm decorating bodies. Yeah. And it's the same basic kind of shape, and there are certain things that work with that shape. Yeah. So there's only so many ways that you can get something to flow and look right on that shape. So when somebody is feeding into that already workable art on that workable spot, when they already kind of, and sometimes accidentally, go, I want this, and I want it to kind of come over and go around, and you're like, something
so I can actually sink my teeth into.
Right, that, and it's already, you're on like the right path to make what you want look cool. So not so much the artwork, but somebody wanting something that really enhances their body and kind of looks like they're born with it, Yeah, that's what I get excited
on
about.
The car thing. Do you remember? I had totally forgotten about this magazine, Cartoons.
Oh man, that was one of the only. You'd get those little. You got those little magazines in school that you could order. Books and stuff. Well, I always ordered magazines.
Scholastic or whatever that was called. I think they're still around.
And you could order like those little hardback books, and it's like about animals and different stuff. Well, then they had some magazines, and I talked my mom into getting me a cartoon magazine subscription, because it was all hot rods, and guys working on their hot rods and hot rod cartoons and stories.
I had completely forgot about it until I saw like an autobiography on Sean Carey, who's the one that designed that circle jerk symbol, the Skank Kid guy. I have that tattoo. Yeah, she designed that. She did a lot of artwork for the early LA scene. But at the same time, the way she supported herself, was she worked for Cartoons and
neat.
Hustler.
Oh wow!
So she did. She was involved with two parts of my development.
Yeah, right.
From the standpoint of the cartoons were like one of the fun parts of the Hustler.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So it's like it was just that's my little callback for the day, I guess.
No, I loved that magazine. I learned how to draw hot rods and stuff out of there, and man, I was totally into that.
And that's the thing is, like, if you look back, I guess maybe just the males,
right?
But that was like the first thing everybody drew. Like, you go to your friend's house or whatever, or you're hanging out and you're bored. Yeah. And they're, and let's face it, boredom is the birth mother or father of all creativity. Yeah. Because if you're not bored, you're not going to try to change anything. But yeah, we'd always sit down and they're like, what are you going to draw? And it's like, cars.
Cars, man.
Yeah. Because
skulls, monster trucks. Eddie from Iron Maiden, I drew that constantly,
and then it turned into women.
Yeah, man, that's so hard though. Depending. You try to draw a sexy girl when you're a kid, and it just looks like somebody who got hit by a bus.
Yes.
Oh, it's so defeating. So skulls and trucks were always a little more
easier done.
Well, yeah, a little more satisfying, although in different ways than drawing a satisfying naked girl would be at that age.
Oh, boobies.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's this thing we do. Me and what's her name? Scott.
Yeah, Scott chick.
The Scott lady.
The Scott lady.
Miss Scott.
I should have wore a wig. I would have blended.
What color would it have been? That's the question.
Yeah, just throw it at the dartboard.
Because I had somebody the other day like, last time I saw her, she had blue hair. And I go, what was that? Like a week ago?
Yeah, yeah. These kids and their wacky hair these days.
Anyway,
yeah.
So we do this thing where we go through the top. I guess I pick out 5 or 10 of them.
Okay.
Of the topics that are trending on YouTube, and I'm guessing
just
they
overall,
get these
or tattoo piercing.
I don't know if the algorithm is part of it or if it's people just searching for these topics. Or and one of these days I'll dig in and find exactly where it's at. So what I did tonight is I split it up into piercing.
Okay. So
I'm going to do one, and then I've got the tattoo thing, and we got 5 of each. And if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to do that. If you're on Facebook, you just make a comment and it turns into chat for me,
Bam.
supposedly. But
magic.
it's been acting weird today. I think our service is supposed to make this easier is screwed up tonight. Anyway, I'll start off with the piercing. The number one topic, the first one was, because there's no order to this, getting every piercing possible.
That's not possible.
That's not possible. That's like saying I'm going to get every tattoo or I'm going to get every. Why would you search for that? I guess the standard ones you could do that. And that's maybe. But then if you don't have the anatomy for it, you can't get 90% of some of those.
Not only that, but the first thing that popped in my head is, aren't there some piercings that include the same anatomy, but they're 2 different piercings?
Yeah.
So
like for example, a good idea. It because these have been developed because people didn't have the anatomy for it.
Yeah.
The rook and forerook or faux rook. A rook is through the antitragus of the ear, which is that top. Like if the top of your ear is your helix, you go below that, or there's that natural ridge right there.
Yeah.
That's the rook. It's usually done with a curved barbell. So if you're going to do a faux rook, what you do is you do a single point piercing, or not single point, but yeah. You do a one piercing. We'll leave it at that. And then you put in a gem setting or something up there so it appears that there is jewelry right at that very angle and spot. So it's a faux.
Right.
You couldn't do both of those. You couldn't have like a regular rook and a faux rook because it wouldn't be a faux rook because it's not in the right place.
Yeah, it would need a different anatomy.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly how you would do every piercing possible.
Right.
It's an interesting question.
Yeah, so if, like you said, if you did, I guess, every possible piercing that your anatomy allowed.
Possibly, yeah. And
that could be something.
But I mean, there's some things like you can't have a regular navel piercing and a floating navel piercing. It just doesn't work.
What's a floating mean?
Floating are done back in the day, back in the 90s when we actually pierced the navel, where it was deep inside the navel.
Yeah.
Those are now called floating navels, except they use different jewelry. Instead of using rings, they use a curved barbell with a disc on one side.
Is that when it hangs, like a gem hangs, like right where the button is?
The gem sets just right at the top.
Oh, at the top.
So it looks like it's floating.
Oh, I see.
And then the disc is actually inside the navel.
All right. So
it works. It's very important because there are some people that just don't have the anatomy for like a traditional one because of where the navel's positioned or how it's built or how it formed or their body type or
a multitude.
They sit down and they're one of those people that the navel just collapses.
Huh.
So to have a ball in there, it would just be like, every time you sit down, dinner's ready. Stand up. Dinner's ready. That turkey's cooked.
Man, so when I was first getting into tattooing, like in the early 90s, and piercing was just starting to kind of, get into that. It's just starting to peek its head up in popularity, in tattoo shops and things. The navel was super
it was
super popular. It was kind of one of the things that seemed to make body piercing popular.
It was the breakthrough piercing.
Yeah.
And it was all because of that crazy song by Aerosmith in the video.
Right.
Which I don't think she actually got it pierced. If I remember correctly.
But
I don't remember.
in the video, it shows her getting
Applegate, maybe?
Well, yeah, was that her?
I think. I can't remember. It was either that or what's his name's kid.
Oh, yeah, Steven Tyler's kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a blonde. So I'm thinking that, anyway.
Yeah.
Her getting pierced in that video and the fact that MTV showed that video every 10 seconds.
That would have helped.
You know, and I guess, you know, the female population of the United States and most of Europe decided that she was a good role model.
Yeah.
Because it was like nuts from about 93 until probably about 99.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the big one. Would you see the tongue became kind of the new
tongue
navel?
was the next thing after that.
The big
and then it's
popular.
kind of offshot into like three kind of directions.
Okay.
There's the earwork thing. And part of this is because there's better jewelry and more designs.
Uh-huh.
And then the nipple piercings became extremely popular.
Right.
And nostrils. Because nostrils now are socially acceptable. So it's
kind of like the new ear.
Yeah, and I don't want to say
really
it's a safe piercing. I'm just saying it's an acceptable piercing. It's not one that you're going to go home and get kicked out of the house on the streets.
It's not like an eyebrow or a... Yeah.
Eyebrows are starting to kind of get that way. It's
are
lip piercings that freak people, that seem to be the one that will never go away. Like septum piercings, anything on the nose is fine as long as there's not too much of it.
Yeah.
But anything on the lip, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the size, what have you. It triggers people.
Huh.
For some reason.
Huh. Yeah, maybe, people are so in tune with their lips with all the nerves and, there's a lot of focus on the mouth and lips.
Yeah.
So maybe seeing someone with that thing just somehow just scratches your brain just right or something. I don't know. Yeah.
So
I loved I had a labrae and then my 2 lip piercings that you did. And
snake bites before they were called snake bites.
Well, I had 2 on one side.
Okay, that was spider bites.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did them for rings now that I think of it.
Yeah.
I was down at the old state.
No, you were working with me at the very first shop when you were there. And I soon realized that Paul had that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it was subliminally seeing Paul with it, but I remember I got them both at once. I knew I wanted to.
Yours were on
the other side.
Your left and Paul's were on his right.
Is right, yeah. But I loved those piercings. That and my labrae was probably my favorite piercings to wear. But,
maybe I'm thinking you came in and I changed jewelry in your labrae because I don't think I did your labrae.
No, I think I got my labrae done in Arizona sometime, but you did my lip.
Because I remember putting in one of those weird old fishtails back in the day.
Yeah. Anywho's.
So you ready for the first tattoo one?
Hit me.
Tattoo sterilization procedures. I'm guessing there's a part of me that thinks this is probably people that have bought the Screw Up Your Buddy special off of Amazon.
Yeah.
But it may not. Maybe people really do need to know exactly because things have changed.
A lot. Okay, so quick history. It used to be that you would have to build all your needles. So you would literally get a little paper folded up square piece of paper that you'd have to unfold really careful because you didn't want the paper to crack or pop. And it was just a bunch of loose pens, they call them. They're just like a sewing needle, but they don't have an eye on the other side. They're just a needle. And depending on what type of needle you're making, you took a razor blade and you counted out each needle. You grouped them. You kind of put them together, got all the points where you wanted them. You tacked them with solder. Then you put them in a jig, and that jig pushed those needles in a specific manner. And then you soldered them again to hold them in that spot. Then you put them in another jig with a needle bar, and you lined those up just right to get it just like the way you like it. And then you soldered that onto the bar. Then you took that out of the jig, you scrubbed it up, you put it in vinegar, you cleaned it, then you took a sterilization bag, you put it in the bag, you tore off the strip on the top, you closed it, you put it down, you wrote the date that you were putting it in, and you wrote the expiration date on it, and you set it aside.
And then you did that about 70 or 80 times.
Yes.
And the other thing, remember the AOK bags or OK bags?
Yeah.
I don't think they even make those anymore. They were
doubt
paper.
it. Yeah.
And they'd get, because you're using those old steam.
They
get wet.
Yeah. It was a pressurized, heated, steam.
Yeah,
which
is I use mine all the time.
Yeah. So anyway, you would have to do that for every single needle, and then you would have to do that for you'd have to scrub every single tube. So after you would get done using the tube, which is the piece that the needle runs through that you hold on to, that the machine is attached to, that obviously gets contaminated. So you need to put that in ultrasonic, clean that, get all the particles out, and then you scrub it with a sanitizing solution. You get all of the material off of it. Then again, you bag it, you seal it, you date it, and you sterilize it in an autoclave sterilizer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these days, almost everyone uses cartridge machines. And these cartridges are just a little plastic cartridge with the needle attached to the cartridge. And all you do is you put the cartridge into the machine, give it a little turn, and now you've got your needle bar, needle, everything right there.
Basically, it replaced the tube and the needle.
Exactly. So now you wrap your machine up, you sterilize, you create a barrier between your machine, and every time you use a cart, you throw it away.
Yep.
They come pre-sterilized. You don't have to sterilize anything. So it changed tattooing. The only thing that changed tattooing as much as that did before that was the stencil making machine.
Thermofax.
The Thermofax,
which is an old thing, but the application I don't think came until.
Yeah, that changed. That because before that you had to make an acetate stencil, which was a whole process.
Powder and all this weird. I have never seen one done, but I heard about it.
And you couldn't change the size.
Yeah,
which was a really crazy thing. Like, for generations you've been able to go, I want that, but I want a little bigger or a little smaller. Well, back in the day, every design that was on the wall already had the stencil made on a piece of plastic, an acetate stencil they called it. It was kind of a somewhat flexible piece of clear plastic, and to make that stencil, you would put the picture down, the outline of the picture, you'd put that acetate over the top, and you'd take a vibrating engraver pen, and you would engrave into that plastic the outline of the tattoo. And then to apply it, you would get dust from a graphite dust, like from a pencil, same stuff, really fine dust. You'd sprinkle that on the acetate, and you'd wipe it off, so just that stencil dust was in the cracks. Then you'd put something sticky, like whatever, just something that was kind of tacky, so
it wouldn't fly away,
speed stick or something. And then you'd take this flat, really rigid stencil and try to get as well of a stencil as you could, as that sticky stuff pulled that powder out of the lines of that piece of plastic. So if you said, I want it a little smaller, well, that means I have to redraw this piece to the size you want it, and then recarve. So it is a completely different thing.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the sterilization procedures now that I use in my shop for tattooing are nil, because everything that I use that penetrates your skin or touches your skin is disposable. The pigments I use, the needles I use, the surfaces I touch, everything gets thrown in the garbage. So there really isn't.
Or put in a biohazard container, depending on how much contamination it got.
Yeah. So the sterilization procedure now, there really isn't one for, because the industry is so big that there's so many people trying to make a buck on it, that there's all these people making all these products now. Where back in the day, you had to basically go to the hardware store and buy things that you could build to make a tattoo?
A hardware store and
Radio Shack.
Radio Shack, and I know from piercing, it's like medical supply places, like the same places you went to get the Little Rascal. That's where I would have to go to get things like gloves and pouches. And
what Hammer was in town for a while.
It was the big one. The family finally sold, and I kind of miss them because I would go in. They gave me the guy that owned the place was just a fantastic guy. He would get stuff for me. The prices were always just a tad bit more than maybe I got online.
Right.
But I could walk in and go, I need a case of latex. Yeah, we used to use latex, and I miss them.
Like crazy. Me too.
They grip so much better, and they stretch.
I know.
But, people are allergic to it now. So.
Yeah.
Powder free, and that was the only place in town where I could do that. So, yeah, we got a good relationship. We had a comment from J and 720. There's a question, I think, for both of us here.
Okay.
Question for each of all. Jack, have you ever heard or used Quantum Tattoo ink?
Quantum. I have heard of Quantum. I almost want to say I don't think I've used I'm pretty positive I have not used their pigments at all. Maybe I've tried if they make carts, I might have tried their carts because it sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah.
But it might be just from the advertising I've seen. But I'm not familiar with their pigments at all. If they're good, or if you have a good review on them, I mean, I'm not, I'm always down to try something new to try to expand my horizons. But no, I have not. I don't think I've tried Quantum.
Okay.
I'm not real sure about them.
Yeah, and we've always mentioned this. If somebody wants to send us a sample, we'll be happy to do a review.
Yeah, if you have used it and you have a good or bad review, I'm curious to hear it.
Because that's the thing is word of mouth is pretty much the standard for the industry.
Yeah,
I think that's when people break into it, they have a hard time with it.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. And this is the trick. Like when I got into it, there was no internet, there was no books, there wasn't tattoo magazines. I mean, there was just no outlet for it. And that made it hard. Well, now there's so much to try to dig through that it's hard in a different way.
Things slip through the cracks.
Yeah, and you don't know what's right. You don't know what to spend your time on. You don't know who is really going to lead you in the right direction, kind of. Where before it was anything that had to do with tattoo, I'll learn something from it. But now tattooing is part of our culture to the point where it's everywhere. You can get everything you need to screw your buddy up on Amazon for under $100.
We bought one of those. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah.
The channel did.
Yeah.
And we were going to do a review of it.
Yeah.
It's packed up here somewhere.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That invisible ink, I think that's
I still have that. I'm kind of scared to use it.
I know.
On myself.
Brent said he had some idea for it. So
okay.
So we're going to pass the buck to Brent.
Yeah, if Brent's willing to.
Or Burnt Star, as the packages came yesterday.
Oh, Burnt Star. That's kind of cool. Burnt
I know.
Star.
I was like, man, you should get cards made up. It sounds like
Burnt.
Live. Or no, featuring Burnt Star.
Burnt or Bert?
And here comes out our favorite dancer.
Yeah. Let's put it together.
For Burnt Star.
Burnt Star.
Okay, DaVo, which piercings are and are not okay to stretch at home, and how to do so properly. Here's the thing. Any piercing, it's possible to stretch. Some are more difficult, and some are more difficult to stretch, and some are more dangerous to stretch. Generally speaking, the easiest and the least dangerous is lobe piercings. If you take your time and you're patient, you do things right, and you don't push the stretch and end up with hemorrhoid-looking cat's buttholes for ear piercings, you'll be okay. Now, if we move up the ear to cartilage takes an extremely long time to stretch. I remember when I first started getting into piercing, like one of the things I did was I'm going to stretch my cartilage piercing, see how big I can get them. I got to 16 and went, nope, I'm done with that. Screw this. They were sore forever. It never got to the point where it was loose again. The other thing you want to be concerned about is certain piercings. Like, I know for a fact the reason why I lost and I mourn my right nipple piercing is because I stretched them out to 6 gauge, and that tissue and the weight of wearing 6 gauge stainless steel rings and those piercings for, I don't know, 20 odd years, the tissue began to thin, and I didn't pay attention to it. And I said, it'll be okay. And eventually I caught it on something and it ripped through and I didn't even feel it. Ow. Yeah, I had 3 nipples for a minute.
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds painful, but the tissue was so thin that it's so
gradual.
And it wasn't one of those situations where I could see the metal through it or anything. It's just that it just gave.
The right,
Yeah, it was just a right amount of pressure, what have you. No. So certain piercings like that, or like a navel piercing where the more you stretch it, the more it seems to come closer to the surface. Those I'd be a little leery of doing. Prince Albert's a good example of that. They stretch on their own, but eventually over time, if you have some heavy object hanging there all the time, I know mine's moved probably, 2-3 millimeters more forward than it used to be. And that's because, I've worn big jewelry in it for a long period of time.
Get that, yeah.
So those you kind of want to be concerned about. As far as doing it safely, if you're doing it at home and you're not using taper pins to test it before you try to put the jewelry in, and I'm not talking about those horn-looking things, I'm talking about actual taper pins. If you can't easily slide a taper pin through that without any effort or pain, it's not ready to go to that. You need to give it more time. And the other option is if you can just simply slide the jewelry in with no pressure, then it's ready for the next size.
And don't, at least what I've learned, don't use your buddy as a gauge, because me and a buddy were stretching our ears at the same time.
You and Matt, right?
Yeah, and he was like Gumby. And most of you don't know who Gumby is, but anyway, his ears would stretch like every week or two. Mine, I had to fight for every little stretch, and it took forever for them to relax and get ready to stretch. So
and Matt had a blowout.
He did, yeah.
Because in Matt's, there was bumps and rigids and tears and
so his would stretch easier. Not that he didn't push it too far, too fast, but yeah, everybody seems to be, everybody has, their skin is different. So some people can stretch real easy, and other people, it's just not, that I found.
And hi, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
Yeah, we missed a week because she's saying, I missed the streams the last couple of weeks.
Where have you been?
We missed a week. And then last week, for some reason, because I'm trying some new things, for one reason or another, YouTube set the stream to private. So we thought we were streaming no problem, and nobody was seeing it. I kept looking going, nobody likes us. And now we're streaming also to a couple of Facebook pages too. So, sorry about that. And hopefully if you're just tuning in, Scott's sick this week. Jack's here.
Yeah.
So
I'm basically like Scott.
Yeah.
I'm like a couple years older.
couple
decades older.
And you understand that being to work on time means being there 15 minutes before you're supposed to.
Right. Yep.
So we'll move on. The next question for tattooing, or the next trending topic.
Yes.
Fine line tattoo healing process.
Yeah. Fine line. It's
a weird definition because a lot of people refer to black and gray as fine line, and a lot of people refer to like neo traditional as fine line. And I remember back in the day that meant you're using a 3.
Yeah, fine line. Okay, well, in the industry, fine line means that you're using either a single needle or a tight 3 typically.
Yeah.
A lot of artists seem to default to a 5 or a 7 round, and you can get I just used a 5 the other day for the first time, and forever, because I was doing an old school piece.
Yeah, like my back, my Rock of Ages.
Yeah.
Sherry she was like, we got to do this traditional, and she like went and got like an 8 round or something. And she's like, yeah, we got to do it this way. And then after we got done, she goes, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, it's a completely different animal. But anyway, so single needle typically means, or fine line means just that the outlines are very light. Sometimes almost not even there. You're working more off contrast to create the edge of what you're looking at more than just a line. So a lot of times those heal really easy and pretty quick, because at least the way I do them, I use very low pressure, a pretty quick machine speed, so I'm getting in there, the needles are hitting fast and getting out quick, and I'm just kind of dusting across, so it usually heal. I hear people say quite often that, it was healed in a couple days, which it's not. What they mean is that it didn't really scab or get much of a scab.
Don't you love that when people are like, "Oh, mine healed in 2 days"?
Yeah,
it's like, no, it didn't.
No,
hopefully you didn't stop taking care of it after that.
Okay, Wolverine. But anyway, so I mean, depending on the tattoo, like if you're doing, say, a portrait on a forearm or a hand, which is really iffy. Forearms get beat up real bad. Hands, to get a good heal on hands is really tough. So you just like any tattoo, though, you just want to not mess with it. If you don't have to use that body part, don't. And the cool, the thing is, you only have to be really anal about it for like a week. You can pretend that your arm is on fire and you don't want to touch anything, or your hand or whatever it is, for a week, and really just don't over lotion it. Just lotion or put something on your skin, like I usually recommend Aquaphor is really good.
Yes, and I've healed that with that, and I've also healed that with lotions.
Yeah. And it's good. Just don't use a lot, because you're just making it comfortable. You're not putting medicine on it. You're just making it comfortable so your skin is flexible and you're not one to itch it. So, yeah, really, healing fine line is a lot easier and a lot shorter of a process than healing real heavy saturated color work typically.
Especially if you have somebody that is well proficient at what they're doing and they're not heavy.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, you can overwork black and gray. There will be some artists that will water down their black to the point to where they've got to, saturate it in like they are saturating in a color. And then instead of adding more opacity to their black, they'll just keep pounding in that light.
Just keep at it.
Right. And so it's not like you can't overwork it. But if you go to somebody who knows what they're doing, really just be very careful with it. Don't ever pick or pull any kind of, even like the slightest little thing that's just blowing in the wind going, you want to pull me. You want to pull it. Don't. Yeah, just let it do its thing and just be gentle with it. And then once all those little flakes and stuff are gone, you're out of the woods and you can party.
And don't sit in a hot tub.
Don't do that.
Nikki mentioned my tongue stretch was the easiest, but not like butter. I had to use a taper. It was sore for a good week. Me personally, I don't think I ever used a taper pen on mine, but I waited an extremely long time between each stretch.
Yeah, I think
it was still one of the quickest. It was not.
Yeah.
It was the fastest stretch I think I did everything. Even faster than the PA. but it does take some patience. There's a lot of tissue there that I don't really, your tongue's thick.
Yeah. I think I went to a 6 in mine. It was the biggest I went, a 6 gauge when I stopped wearing mine. And yeah, I didn't have to really try too tough.
Me, a 2 gauge.
Yeah, 2 gauge. Yeah.
It usually was, I'm out of stock with I'll just stop at 6. And then I ran out of 6. When I lost a ball, it was like, we're out of 6 gauge. Yeah, it's been a while. I'll put 4. We'll see if 4 goes in. Slid in. The same thing happened to 2 gauge.
Like Fat Albert.
Yeah, I know. But she also asked, what would you say is the most painful spot to get tattooed at? I have 2 tattoos, a Black Panther on my upper back shoulder blade and a dragonfly on my left breast. None of them hurt.
Yeah. It's you could ask 100 people and they might give you 100 different places.
Probably about 200 different answers.
Yeah. So I'll say what I tell people when they ask that, just generally what is considered some of the worst spots or the worst spot. I'll say usually it's rib cage is pretty rough. The kidney area is pretty rough. And I think the back of the calf is one of the worst places I've been tattooed.
I have no work. Well, I kind of do. No, I have no work there.
Yeah, I've gotten tattooed pretty much everywhere. And, man, both of my calves on the back of my calf was just excruciating. And, I mean, I've done thousands of tattoos on the backs of calves, and not everybody feels that way. Now, some people have. Some people have, I've talked to that are as heavily tattooed as me, and they've said, yeah, the calves killed me. But I've tattooed solid, saturated, color blending, stuff that when I'm tattooing, I'm like, man, this guy's going to jump off the table. And they're like, yeah, it wasn't too bad. So
who knows?
Yeah, it's really tough to say. Everybody's a little bit different. Usually upper arms and biceps are considered some of the easiest. Even shin bones aren't too bad. Even the kneecap is not that bad.
Shin bone, when you got down over the tendon, that's in the front of your foot.
Yeah, getting down into the front of the foot is rough. Yeah.
You want my 2 cents on it?
Yeah.
What I generally tell people when they ask is I'm like, okay, first and foremost, the more sunlight the area normally gets, the less painful it's going to be. The closer it is to joints and tendons and areas of the body that maybe you're not ticklish anymore, but we all have childhood memories of being tickled. Mm-hmm. If you were ticklish in that spot, it's probably a little bit more sensitive, because one of the reasons why it's ticklish is there's a lot of nerve endings there.
Exactly. And people ask, and that's what I tell people when they ask, why do the ribs hurt so bad? I'm like, because God decided that we needed tons of nerves in our ribs, and that's why we're ticklish, because it's very sensitive. So it doesn't take a whole lot of stimuli to light you up. So if you can imagine, instead of getting tickled by fingers, you've got a needle sticking in there. Yeah, it can, but
and the other thing I always tell them is I don't find the pain really that bad. What really bothers me, and I think is the challenge of receiving a tattoo, more so than a piercing, because a piercing's overdone in a split second, is focusing on keeping that part of your body completely still for the artist.
Yep.
Over time, that's what really is the taxing part and the part that wears you out.
Yep, that's very true. And there are some people that no matter how hard they try, they just cannot convince themselves that if they move anything on their body, it's connected to the rest of their body and it will move. Yeah. But then you'll have, most people are really good at it. And what I tell people if they're struggling is, pretend you're wearing a body suit and you're pulling your skeleton out of that part of the suit. It's hard. It's hard to do on your torso, but your legs and your arms, you can just kind of some people can just kind of disconnect from it and just let it go and look at it like it's someone else's and just kind of let it be a piece of meat on the table. And that's the best thing you can do. There's some people that just, I think, try to hold still too much. And that's when they start getting tensed and they're trying to help you too much. You know, if you just stay like a piece of meat and I can just kind of push you around and hold you there and adjust the tension of your skin, then it's way easy for me. But if you're tensing your muscles, that's making your skin tighten. So then I'm not in control of that tightening. So if you loosen up while I'm pulling a line across that skin, well, now that skin is looser, so it's not going to pull the same line, so I have to make up for that. So if I can just rely on you being a piece of meat, then I know what I'm going to get the whole time and not have to adjust.
And it's what we're talking about when we say just let it go.
Yep. Just
if you try to fight it, then you're going to tense up.
Yeah.
Just let it, try to just go with it and live the pain.
Yep.
Mindy Payne, just joining, newbie, only one to tattoo. I'm guessing they mean one tattoo. Is the latest seen on TikTok or FB glitter effect, an absolute failure, but seems and looks like a great idea, but horrid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with this.
Well, and I think what she's talking about is, at least I've seen a couple different ways of trying to get that. And it's usually with kind of a stippling effect, using dots or, small little swatches of color and relatively, tight patterns to kind of give you that sparkling effect with some real bright whites and yellows that kind of give you that glitter almost effect. Hold
on, I got something.
It's kind of.
I think that's 3. So that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this might be what she's talking about. And
it's like a. I want to say like a mosaic.
Well, no, if that's what she's talking about, to me is going to age and look moldy.
Yeah.
It's going to break up. Those whites are going to relax. The greens around that and the yellows, they're going to relax. And it's just going to kind of look like you scratched at it a lot when it was healing. I mean, it looks kind of neat now. It gives it a cool texture and all that. And maybe it'll heal up good and solid and who knows, and her body won't beat it up too bad. But some of those look pretty cool, but you need such a high contrast to really sell that sparkle that I think part of it is kind of some photo magic and kind of bumping up some things in the photo to make it look, wow, that's really cool.
To make it pop.
Yeah, and I mean, when was the last time, you have to think, when you see these photos online and they just look like, whoa, when was the last time you saw someone in public with a tattoo like that? It's not. It's
especially with those ultra realistic, multi like background type stuff that there are some tattoos out there that's possible, but
sure,
it's not going to look that way in a couple of weeks once it heals. And yes, they bumped up the contrast. They put it in Lightroom. They played with it for hours to make it look as perfect as it possibly could, and then posted it to Instagram.
And it's tricky, and I'm not saying anybody's wrong or right for doing that, because it's tricky, because if everybody else is juicing up their photos when they post them, and you're like, well, I'm not going to edit mine at all and put them up there, well, then
they look flat.
They're not going to stand up at all, because even if you and Billy Bob did 2 beautiful tattoos, but he spends 10 minutes in the Lightroom on his phone or laptop juicing it up and making everything perfect, and I just put it up raw, well, his is going to look better. So it's this tricky slope.
And what I was thinking about this off and on for the last couple of years. It's like, if you're looking at tattoos online, and eventually we have way too much going on 90% of the time, but I was thinking there is no way, or there is ways, but it would be a hell of a lot more complicated to manipulate video. You can put filters on top of it, but as we all know, when you look at a girl and she's got perfect skin and she looks like she's 12, we know it's a filter.
Yeah.
But kind of if you have like in the flybys, which is where, they go over the sleeve or whatever, that really is a true kind of judge, I think, of what that tattoo is.
You would think so, but there's just as many filters and just as many fun things you can put on video. So what I would say is, that is a great way to get an idea of a person's style and what they're putting out and maybe what they're into, but don't ever, substitute that for going in, talking to the artist, and trying to meet as many people in the flesh as you can that have been tattooed by that artist.
Yeah, because nothing replaces actually seeing the tattoos they've done.
That's the best thing you can do, is find somebody who's been tattooed as extensively as you can find by that person, and then you can find out about the artist, how they work, because every artist kind of has their own process to get to the final project, to the final product, and not every client is going to click with that, right? So, which isn't right or wrong. It's just the artist has their process, and the client needs to see or get what they need to get to go along with the process. So it's good when you can talk to somebody who's been tattooed by that person, and so you can kind of learn how they work.
And that's why whenever we used to just try to load clients up that we were really proud of stuff with cards. Like, here, take a handful.
Yeah. Yep.
Because we know you're going to go out there and advertise for us.
It's true.
Next one is another one from Nick. She's like, Wilp.
Welp.
There goes my idea for tatting my right foot. Wanted a scorpion there.
Yeah.
On my right foot or my left forearm. Here's the deal with tattoos: is you do a tattoo and it's a 4-hour tattoo. That's 4 hours of discomfort, a little bit of discomfort over, a little bit of a hassle for about a week and a half, sometimes 2-3 weeks, and then you have it for the rest of your life. It's worth it, is what I'm getting at. A little bit of pain.
Yeah, and top of the forearm isn't bad at all. And again, I've tattooed thousands of feet, and there's been a big handful of people that were like, oh, that wasn't bad at all. So, nothing is absolute. It's really mental. How bad do you want it? How excited are you for it? How scared are you of it? I can remember going into my first professional tattoo, and up until like 2 minutes before it started, I hadn't even thought about it hurting. Honestly,
I knew it was going to hurt.
Honestly, I didn't.
But I was a tough guy, and I could get through it.
I didn't think, and then, but I'm sitting there, and for those 2 minutes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't think that. This is needles. Yeah. But
same here.
So it just really depends on your mental attitude going into it, and whether you believe that you're going to make it through it, or you're not sure if you're going to make it through it, and you're questioning yourself the whole time.
Well, it's like I had a client earlier. We pierced a floating navel on her.
Mm-hmm.
And she got done, and she goes, I've come to the conclusion that all my friends are wimps. And I'm like, why? And she goes, they all said that hurt like bloody murder, or some of them said this part did, some parts did this.
Yeah.
And, we talked a little bit, and she goes, I go, here's the deal, because she'd had a child and been through pregnancy. I'm like, nothing is going to compare to childbirth. It's more about your pain experiences. If you've gone through things like that in your life, or maybe a complex surgery and recovery, or you're a klutz and you broke a lot of bones, or a stunt person, or what have you, it's probably going to be, you've already learned how to cope with pain.
Right. Yeah.
And we like to think that it's all medicated and that's why you got through it. No. The truth is that you have to kind of just have the ability to just focus, because I don't know. I've gone, my kid used to be like freaked out because I'd pick up like hot objects and stuff, and I'm like, I don't feel it. You know, is this really that? Are you that sensitive?
Yeah.
But it's because I've gone through a lot of pain in my life.
Yeah, it is true. And you have to remember, too, that some people like to make themselves or have an incredible story, and sometimes saying, no, it wasn't bad. Well, that's you're not going to pay attention to me for more than 2 seconds if I say that.
Oh, but
if I say, oh my God, check this out, you know, and we make it into this epic thing.
I brought that up with her too. I'm like, they're just trying to play that they're tough guys.
Yeah. So
badass.
So, you know, it's tough. It's tough to
and the truth is you really don't know what that experience is going to be like until you actually do it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the process of getting pierced or tattooed. You just kind of have to, and it's part of the experience, the empowerment, and everything that goes with it that we often talk about on here. You just have to do it.
And remember this too. You don't often see someone with one tattoo or one piercing. No. So
they're like potato chips,
right? So how bad could it be if if tattooing or piercing was so horrible, you wouldn't see them everywhere you go.
No,
you know. So yeah, is it uncomfortable? Sure, it's uncomfortable. It's more uncomfortable than watching a show eating some Cheetos. That's for sure.
So is going for a walk,
right?
I mean,
and that walk is only going to keep you alive for another 6-8 minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, this tattoo is going to be there, and that piercing fur.
And the next, Mindy Page. Hi, Mindy.
Hi, Mindy.
I foresee all the colors and details that go into glitter aspect look. That's a ton of money, right? Question mark. Just to get all the colors. I'm thinking I have a smaller one, maybe 4x4 max, versus a bigger piece.
Ish. I mean,
ish, because most places are going to charge you by the hour anyway.
Yeah. And what takes time is switching out the colors, you know? So, I mean, yeah, of course, a bigger design is going to take longer. It's going to cost you more, but it is taking, you know, several different colors and filling in an area with very small dots.
Yeah.
You know, very.
But the thing about it is, it's not a new technique. I mean, you can't see it. It's
right.
It's I don't know, 40 years old or whatever.
With the stippling.
Yeah, we did that on purpose around my elbow because we felt, you know, her theory was that it would wear better.
Yeah,
and it has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very
instead
true.
of shading it out and trying to get the textures and so forth from that rough skin.
Yeah.
It's also made the tattoo very unique. I've had many people, I've never seen anything like that before. And I'm like, yeah, it's just stippling.
Yeah, it's a great idea for areas like that, especially because you have all these peaks and valleys in your elbow. And as that needle is skimming across the top, it's only hitting the peaks of those. It's only hitting the peaks, not the valleys.
Are you trying to say I'm ashy?
Yeah. So, you know, it's going to leave a lot of little breaks. So, but if you're doing dots, well, a dot is a dot. So you can put those dots wherever you want, and they're going to be uniform, and then you can stipple it out. So it is kind of like that. Typically, people or an artist will use a 5 or a 7 round, and so they can make kind of a substantial
valley.
Well, no,
I'm joking.
A substantial dot, you know, that's a millimeter or a centimeter or so, you know, wide. But it's a technique, and you know, I don't really know.
It's a visual. It's another way of making a visual mark.
Yeah, it's a style. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, maybe they will heal really cool. You know, I think of those. You've seen they make them look like patches. Well, they'll go in and make them look sewn and do all the highlights and stuff. I'm really curious to see those in 5 or 10 years too. But just like any tattoo, if you take care of it, if you're not nuking it in the sun all the time, if you've got a healthy skin, and all that, it should look really good for a really long time.
Yeah.
But, you know,
except micro tattoos.
Well,
on your hand.
Those are tricky.
Yeah, and if you don't believe me, look at some of the celebrity tattoos that are out there, or their hand tattoos.
They always get
spent billions of dollars to get done by famous tattoo artists, blah blah blah, and now they came out, they look like a little face, and now it's just a I don't know what the hell. It's melted. It's melted.
You know what I found out though? I think why famous people and rockers and stuff have a lot of times they do have those shitty kind of terrible tattoos
because they get them for free.
Exactly. Because there's always somebody at the show going, "Hey man, get back to the shop," and it's
and
always
as somebody who's worked
dirtbag.
in live music for a long period of time and been around that a lot, it's
right.
Like, there's so many times where I'm like, "Oh, dude, don't do that."
Yeah, I know. It's always
you
some
don't want to
jerk
go
that just wants to go, "Hey, I tattooed Vanilla Ice." Like, yeah, I know.
Let's see. Actually, Dan did, I think.
Yeah. Well, he's right across the street. He tattooed several of them, and
I think he did.
Dan does solid work.
Solid, good work.
Right.
There's a couple people there that work really well at Yankee Doodle Dance here.
Yep.
In the Drake area of Des Moines.
That's right.
Tat hyphen I6S. I was looking on y'all's page for more piercing information because I'm doing my apprenticeship right now and can't get enough new information.
Well,
that is a good thing. If there's any negative thing I can say about a lot of people in the industry, people that have been in it for an extremely long time, is their inability to go, "Hey, I might be wrong about something. Maybe I should look it up. Hey, here's a new idea. Maybe I should do some research on that." The biggest important part, and I try to get this on Scott's head as much as possible, is part of learning to do tattooing, piercing, etc., is learning how to do research and understanding what it means to be a critical thinker. Critical thinking is very important. In knowing how to find trusted sources, and understanding that what you're learning today, either there'll be new tools or new jewelry or techniques that'll come forth that are much better than what you're being taught. And you need to be able to adapt to those things as time goes
on. So are you saying, is he saying that he's not getting, he feels he's not getting the information from his mentor?
He's just saying I can't get enough new information.
Oh, I see.
But that can also be a problem. I've had people come in that got pierced, a couple people from out of state that were doing apprenticeships, and they're like, "We saw the channel and we want to get pierced by you and blah blah blah, and just meet you and tell you how much things helped." I'm really leery of inattentive. A lot of people just don't know how to teach, and everybody at every apprentice of me has been a different challenge. Mm-hmm. And you have to, and the reason why I always say it takes as long as it takes.
Yeah.
Because I'll watch Scott. She's been at it a little over a year now. And I'll watch her and I'm like, I'll walk up and I'll look at her and I go, "You want to do this a little different," during the process. Because it's something I hadn't noticed before. Because I haven't, it's either I hadn't thought of it or, hey, I can make your life easier because I just thought of a better way to do that. And it's a long process. That's why supervised piercings or supervised tattooing, even in that case, are very important during those initial years of starting a new art.
And there's no way to tell you how long it's going to take because everyone learns differently. They pick up different things faster or slower. You've got to use different techniques to teach different people different things because they're learning different. It's such a unique experience for every single person that it's not like going to college where we're just going to spit you out the end because you gave us $20.
Yeah.
It's not that at all. And the tricky part for me is, and for anyone who's trying to apprentice someone, is finding someone who understands that and respects you by saying, "Hey, you're not quite ready yet.
Yeah.
There's things that you're still going to need that's going to make you who you need to be for me to go, yep, I taught that person."
I always refer to it as the fine tuning.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time to fine tune. And you could be with me for 10 years and I could still be walking up to you going, "Yeah, your angle's a little off."
Yeah.
It's just, "Hey man, try this. This is going to be much easier."
Yeah.
It's just part of it. And part of it is, I always use the analogy. There was a punk band. A lot of my analogies start with that.
I wonder
because I spent a lot of time around these people. From from Spain called the Pleasure Fuckers, punk and roll band. The lead singer, his name was KK, and he grew up in an area of Spain where there is a dialect that's spoken in that village. They also speak Italian, German, French, and Spanish, but in a little bit of English, but none of it fluently. It's like a combination of all those different things.
Whoa.
So every time, and I booked him, so I'd be talking to him and he'd look at me puzzled about something. And then, one of the other band members would be, they'd explain it to him in English. And he'd be like, and he'd explain it to him in French. And he'd go, huh? And then Spanish. And then eventually he'd go, oh.
Do you see what diversity does?
And it's kind of like that, teaching somebody else to do something that you do instinctively. You have to learn that language, and sometimes you have to tell them or say them in so many different ways to find that melt, that fucking connection that translates.
Yeah.
And everybody's different.
Yep. And depending on how you've learned, can really determine on how you teach.
Yeah.
Because I was self-taught. I'd say 98% of what I do, I learned by doing it wrong. As many times as it took to do it right. So for me to teach someone is really hard.
Yeah.
Because they say, Jack, how do you do that? And I'm like, well, I just do it. Right. And it's true. And it's not because I don't want to tell you how. It's because
the way it is.
It's because I haven't really thought about it. This is just, I think in my mind, I want it to look like this, and I do it. I'm not paying attention to exactly where the machine is, how my hand is touching the skin, how exactly stretched it is, what angle I'm at. I'm not thinking about that. I've just been going, nope, 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 nope. Yep. Yeah.
There's the spot.
Okay, that feels awesome. So it's really tricky for someone like me who hasn't been taught, because I can't go, oh, this is how I was taught, so I'll just teach you the same way. I was taught by just doing it until I liked the way it looked, and I did not really thinking, okay, you have to do it like this to make it look like that.
Yeah.
So it's tricky.
And part of it is trial and error, even when you have somebody that's supervising you.
Yeah, and that's
I try to debrief on everything and make sure everybody feels comfortable. Like my apprentices, if I feel like they're struggling with something, then I'll say, because I do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go like, man, why did that do that? And maybe that's a better. I'm constantly doing it.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is if you have a mentor, and that's part of the problem, ask questions, be as annoying as you possibly can. As far as reading material and so forth, there's a lot out there. Some of it's outdated, some of it's current. I think it's important to go back and know a little bit more about the history if possible.
I can't believe that he's gone through all your content.
No, he hasn't.
Well, then, yeah. Come back when you've gone through all of his stuff, and then tell me you haven't found it, that you can't get enough. Oh, thousands of.
JN720 asks, how do you tattoo somebody who has tics and tremors that they can't control? Do you have any experience with it? I don't know if was it you that went through had that client?
Yeah, it's tricky. I've dealt with that a handful of times, and it's tricky. Every person is a little different. All you can do is try to read their tics and their body language the best you can, and time your actions.
That's it. Is just like you have to get into a flow with them and learn how to read them.
Yeah, that's about all you can do. And as long as the client is their expectations and their understanding of the situation, that I'm going to do the best I can to get this applied to you in the best manner I can, considering, then it hasn't usually been a problem. There has been a time or two where someone is moving or trimmering or doing something crazy, and they're just not getting it, and there doesn't seem like they're doing anything to stop it. But no, it can happen, and depending on the tattoo, the placement, and the nature of the person's trimmers or whatever it might be, there's usually a way around it. I've never turned anyone away because of anything like that.
No, and it's kind of like a dance. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, do the line. Okay.
Yeah.
Do the next line. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the hardest thing about it, I think, with like anything, because I pierced people that had issues too, but it's a little short. It's a little quick. It's just finding when to do it.
Yeah.
And I've had normal people that just couldn't sit still. So, and you have too.
Yeah.
Is not to get frustrated.
Yeah.
And if you can stay as an artist clear and stick with it, you'll be fine.
Yeah. You just understand that they're not doing that on purpose. I have people apologize to me all the time. Oh, sorry. You know, they moved or they had a little, thing, and they're always apologizing. It's like, and I appreciate that they are, aware, but, I know that you don't want to mess up your tattoo.
Yeah, that's why I always say communicate. Please communicate.
Yeah.
Talk to the person who's doing the thing to you.
Yeah. If something's coming,
if you've got like a massive itch or need to adjust something, or you're about to have like you already have the massive Charlie horse.
Right.
You need to tell the artist.
Yeah.
Don't just start moving.
Nope.
When you can't stand it anymore. Mindy, I thought I made it clear. This is Jack Lowe of the Skin Kitchen Tattoo. Let's see, is there anything else? And she's asking how long it takes to like. We had quite a few tonight, so it's taken me a while to get to things. I6S. I hate my tattoo because I was 18 and now I'm not. I'm trying to find a good artist to cover them up. It's hard to see what their actual work looks like when they're editing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We've talked about this a lot on other programming we've done on the channel. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Find somebody that you just fit with. That talks to you, that, has an idea of what you want. When it comes to cover-ups, best option, organic materials, because it's easier to hide things.
Yeah, something organic that, that can be added to or subtracted from without any rules. That's why a lot of times, mountains and trees and foliage and flowers, because you can add a petal or add a leaf or remove this or that or add a bud here or there, and it doesn't look weird. You know, you can't really add another roof to a house over here to cover this part and still make it look like a house.
It's all about camouflage.
But yeah, I mean, I've done a bunch of cover-ups, reworks, all that. So don't feel defeated. Come in. It's free.
Yeah.
Just you can even send a picture into the tattoo shop. Just email us and say, hey, I've got this. This is kind of what I'm wanting or willing to maybe cover it with. Can you guys help?
It starts with finding somebody that you're comfortable with their design skills.
Try to find people that, if you see somebody at the market or you see somebody anywhere and they've got a nice tattoo, just ask them quick.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a really nice tattoo. Can I ask who did that? And people are more than happy to tell you. And if you're hearing the same name, then that's a good place to start. Go in, talk to them, look at their book, just pick their brain a bit, and see if you're comfortable with them and if you guys are on the same page. And if you are, awesome. If not, you keep looking. Everybody puts the amount of work that they want to into their tattoo. So whatever you're willing to put in, you're going to get out of it, and it's worth it.
When consultations in a way are like a first date.
Yeah.
You need to kind of and you can tell a lot. I've been on both sides of it. You can tell a lot about the person.
Mm-hmm.
just like how, you're going to be with this person for some time. So you want somebody you feel comfortable with and has the passion and everything else.
And to be asked those questions that maybe you weren't considering, so you've been thinking, oh, I want to cover this, and oh, I think of this, and oh, maybe I'll use that, and blah, 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 blah. Well, that could be a lot of waste of time, because a lot of those things that maybe you're thinking aren't even an option to be a good cover up, or so it's good to come in just to know kind of your options and what works and what doesn't, and what kind of design that maybe you want to be thinking about, and I don't expect somebody that comes in for a consult to make an appointment.
No, they usually do, though.
Well, and that's great. That's awesome. But
you get in a second date.
But if you come in and you have a consult with me, you don't make an appointment. It's not like I'm going to be like, the jerk didn't make an appointment.
Yeah.
I'm here, and I've been doing it 3 years or something, and if you've got a question about, hey, can this be covered? What can I cover it with? What can this look better? Shit. Come in, it's free. I'll talk to you about it.
Yep.
And if I give you just some stuff to talk about or to think about, great. I'm here.
And I had somebody ask just recently, it's like, is it okay? Should I tip? And I was like, if you feel like you had, like, if you're not getting the tattoo from them, but you use their time and you feel like they gave you some great ideas and some great insight, of course.
Yeah.
It's a gift. That's what a tip's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Not mandatory.
No, not at all. No.
Anyway, well, you got through 2 of them. I got through 1, but we've been doing this for over an hour now.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things I want to mention that are kind of a more private thing, I guess, for me. And kind of, what have you. 2 major losses, I guess, this week, kind of. Most people may not know who Adam the Woo is, but he made a big influence on me. Like, I doubt this channel would exist without him. He did blogs. He was one of the persons that kind of invented the vlog. And watching him be so passionate about that for like about a year, I was like, why can't I do that for piercing and tattooing? And that's where this channel, the original seed, was from. He passed away on Christmas, Christmas Eve or the day before. And the world's going to be less fun without him.
That's too bad.
The other thing is some of you know that I was heavily involved in live music. Did a lot of talent buying and promoting at a place called Safari. Then it was Harry Mary's, and then it closed for about 8 years and became a less than reputable college bar, and then reopened as Lefty's Live Music. And I worked there for about almost 3 years and then left. And they continued for another 7 years, and they recently just decided they're tired of pushing the boulder up the hill.
Yeah.
And have closed down. And that place will be missed. It was the last independent venue in Des Moines. Mm. So all the other ones are, Live Nation and all those jokes. But anyway, sad to see him go. Support local music and support people that make you feel like you need to be creative. That's going to be my 2 things.
Yeah.
We try to do this every Monday. We are working on, or I'm trying to get my head around or try to find the time to do a tattoo version of this, which may be called as something as creative as talking about tattoos.
Oh. You said that out loud. Now somebody's going to copyright it.
No. It's in the sink. We put it. It's already been out there. Oh. That means we were first.
Okay. Cool.
I'm sure there's already one out there. But I also thought there would be a channel called Body Piercing and Tattooing, and there wasn't.
That's true.
That was weird to me.
On the whole planet Earth.
Or at least on YouTube. Right. But like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff like we love you to do. We try to do the piercing one every Monday at 8 p.m. I'm still trying to work out the bugs with the streaming. Somebody asked about the delays on the comments versus and chat versus how quickly. There is a delay. There's always a delay. It's required by all streaming services, and it's usually anywhere from 5 seconds up to 30 seconds. Varies. Anyway, so tune in, watch us, and as always, till next time, here's hoping your piercings in tattoos heal with ease without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we'd love to help you with fulfill your tattooing and body piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.